customer support, calls to and from our center will be recorded. Approval has been granted for the 3.0-liter diesel emission settlements. This is in addition to the approval for the 2.0-liter diesel emission settlements, which has been in process for several months. This concludes a comprehensive series of agreements that we have reached in the United States to honor our pledge to make things right for our customers. Please.
Thank you for calling Volkswagen Court Settlement Support. And how can I help you today?
Okay, I took my car in about a month ago to get the recall done. And when it was in there, it was discovered that the paperwork had been written up incorrectly. Mine was it was written up as a Category 2, and mine's actually a Category 1. So the dealer gave me the car back without doing anything, and they said that Volkswagen would be contacting me about getting it in, and I was just trying to find an update on that.
Okay, well, I can definitely go ahead and take a look at it with you. Do you have your claim or reference number that you can provide to me? Okay, here we go. And can you verify for me the make, model, and year of your vehicle?
It's a 2010 Volkswagen Jetta TDI.
Alrighty, let's see here what we got. Okay, it does look like the account has been notated that everything is now clear on the account, so we can go ahead and do a rescheduling of the appointment for you. We would just need to contact the local dealership there that you want to work on the car, and we can get that appointment set up with them.
Okay.
Thank you so much for your patience in holding for me, sir. I did go ahead and get in contact with their servicing department, which would be where we need to speak with to make the appointment. Has done closed, but they'll be in the morning at 8.
Okay.
He did advise me, though, that you can call and make the appointment yourself. The only thing that you would need to provide to him is your claim number.
Yeah, I can give him a call tomorrow and get that scheduled then. I just wanted to make sure, because they told me that I couldn't reschedule it until...
Yeah, everything had been done on the account. I'm not sure why they didn't notify you to let you know that we were able to reschedule it or something of that nature. But yeah, he said that they were open from 8 to 5:30, and you would be able just to contact them and speak with the service department directly, give them your claim number, and they will set you up.
Okay, perfect. Well, that was easier than I expected. Okay, so I've just dropped my car off at the dealership to get the recall done. By now you've already seen my recording of the phone call where I called Volkswagen's claim department, which is, the specific division that handles getting the recalls done in the paperwork. And they said it was all cleared. Go ahead, make the appointment, get it in. I dropped it off with the service manager. He's the one who's specifically handling my car. While I was still standing there before I left, he decided to run the VIN and check to make sure that it showed up at the Category 1 it was supposed to. He even went so far as to pull the old repair order to see what it was listed as last time to make sure they didn't match. And of course they did. So I left the car with him. He's going to be calling them in the morning to see if he can figure out what's going on. I have to send in my claim number tonight when I get home, mainly because I got to look it up. I don't have it written down or anything. But I'm going to send him my claim number. He even gave me his personal cell phone number so I can send it right to him. It means he's actually going to handle it. Admittedly, I'm probably getting a bit of preferential treatment because A, it's for the recall. B, I've dealt with the service manager before as part of my job. He wasn't always the service manager there. He worked at another dealership in town. He used to call me all the time to get parts. So, he knows me. Admittedly, getting a recall done is the first time I've ever seen his face. I only knew what his name was and what he sounded like on the phone. It's, the biggest recall Volkswagen's had in a while. So obviously they want to take care of the customers, especially the few of us who are keeping the car didn't sell it back. Admittedly, I did contemplate selling it back. It wasn't cost effective. After paying off the remainder of my loan, I would have had, I don't remember the numbers. It was like $8,000 or $9,000 towards a new car. And I mean, it is a decent sized down payment, but the car's almost paid off. I'm almost done, having a car payment. I really didn't feel like getting a new loan or basically extending mine for a new car that may not be as good as mine. does have 167, almost 168,000 miles on it now. But it still runs just as good as the day I got it. I mean, I'm still pulling down 40 miles to the gallon easily, 50 when I try. We used my car for Colorado, and with 4 people in the car, a week worth of shit for 4 separate people, and the air conditioner on quite a bit. We averaged 43 miles to the gallon overall, and I was by no means hyperventilating. That was 30 hours of driving. Every mile an hour, you know, cut off a significant amount of time over the whole trip. When we left here, I mean, my first fuel stop was just outside the city limits of Chicago. I didn't need fuel again until somewhere in Nebraska. I filled up in Chicago, then in Nebraska, and then I got there. I was down to around a quarter of a tank. We got there on 3 tanks of fuel, 3/4 of the way across the country. There's no other car on the market I can buy that is gonna hit any of those numbers. You're not gonna get that kind of fuel mileage. I have a hitch on the Jetta. I have used it to tow before. I towed a boat and a kayak simultaneously. I've used it to tow my bike. I've used it to tow a few bikes, actually. And yet it's still relatively fun to drive. I mean, the limiter at 120 miles an hour is annoying. And if I felt so inclined, I could get a VADCOM and go in and delete it. But it's a very expensive purchase just to go a little faster. And I only have so many opportunities to actually do that. It's not worth it. At least not yet. But there, like I said, there's not going to be another car that I can get that gets 40 miles a gallon, no matter how you drive it. I don't care if they cheated or not. It benefited the customer. That's me. So, benefited me. I'm okay with this. It's a great car. If they hadn't bought them all back, I'd tell everybody to go get one. Actually, I had been for years. That's the main reason I got it. I kept telling people, if you want something good on fuel, get a Volkswagen diesel. And I finally put my money where my mouth was. And I don't regret it. Really beginning to wish I brought my headphones for this. He's looking at me weird because, like I mentioned in the last one, you look pretty stupid with your phone out in front of you. So, after talking all that shit, here I am doing it. Footage comes first. The Volkswagen system still shows the Jetta as being a Category 2 for the recall, which, as we discovered last time, is wrong. But we know that I definitely called to confirm that it was set up as a Category 1. But that's why I explicitly mentioned Category 1 when I called, to make sure there was no confusion, no doubt. The more specific you are, the more it's their fault. Which doesn't really help me, because I just needed the fucking thing fixed. I don't care whose fault it is, just fix my fucking car. Playing the blame game with Volkswagen will only help if it was, say, like a customer pay job. It's a recall, it's already free. They can't make it extra free, and they're already giving me a check. Basically, my hands are tied. I did what I could, and I documented it. So I guess I'll find out more when I find out more. I'm not going to learn anything else tonight. So let's see how many days it takes them to get this straightened out. But just for ha-has, in case this does end up taking a long time to get fixed, like many days again, I'm going to put some counters from here, here, and here. This one will be days since I dropped it off. Obviously today is day 0, tomorrow will start day 1. The counter in the middle here, let's make it days since I tried to drop it off to actually get the recall done. And for extra ha-has, the one here in the far corner, it's going to be days since my paperwork was submitted to Volkswagen and considered to be completed. So not since the recall started, since all my paperwork was done and they said we just had to come up with a recall and then get it done. If memory serves, it was around Christmas that they marked it as finalized, and I just had to wait to schedule my appointment as soon as parts became available. And then I will keep the counter going as the days progress, just so we can see how long this actually took. Alright, it is now Thursday. I dropped the car off Tuesday night, and I did get some updates on Wednesday. I just didn't have a chance to record them. So the service manager called Volkswagen a few times, by my understanding. So the entire problem with the recall is the part that actually needs to be replaced. And the part that needs to be replaced is the NOx converter, NOx. Apparently on the later models, it is a serviceable unit. There's a flange on each side of it. You unbolt it, put the new one in, bam, you're done. That is not the case with mine. Here is a diagram of my exhaust system. This part here is the NOx converter. But as you can see, there is no flange on the front side of it. This entire assembly, that is the only way you can get it. which means it includes the DPF, but that's the whole issue. All the different categories, they service the NOx converter as its own unit. So both the category 2 is wrong, and apparently category 1 is also wrong, because it services different parts. And that's what's causing all the hangups. My Jetta is basically a unicorn. The service manager has seen ones like mine before. Apparently the people who wrote up the recall didn't account for them. So every time he calls Volkswagen about it, they're telling him no, it's a category 2. And he's trying to explain to them that no, the category 2 has the serviceable NOx, and this car does not. And for whatever reason, the people on the other end of the line cannot comprehend this. I don't know if it's because they don't have pictures to look at, and he's just trying to describe it to them and they're not understanding it, or what the malfunction is. But that was the update I got partway through Wednesday. Towards the end of the business day on Wednesday, he called me again, and he had gotten in touch with the Volkswagen rep. The Volkswagen rep understood what he was talking about. He'd actually seen cars with my exhaust system set up before. And so now the rep is getting involved. He's going to make some phone calls to see what's got to be done, or what he can do to get it fixed. The service manager had to take a bunch of pictures of my exhaust and everything and show it to him. And they also asked me if the DPF or any of that had ever been changed. And I told them not since I've owned it. I got it with 91,000 miles on it, around 167,000 miles on it now. And I've never done the DPF. I bought it from a Volkswagen dealer, used. It wasn't certified or anything because of the mileage it had. I got it in late 2013. It's a 2010, so it's 3 years old and had 91,000 miles on it, which means that car did not sit still at all. It's double the national average for mileage for a year, but that means it was all highway miles. You can't put that many miles on it only driving in town. Being that I got it with 91,000 miles on it, if they changed the DPF before that point, it would have been covered on warranty, and they would have been able to look it up, see that it had done. Evidently, it wasn't done under warranty, and since I've never done it, that's the factory DPF, which is somewhat impressive, because they say at around 120,000 miles, you have to start worrying about replacing it. I haven't needed it. I've never had the warning come on. The only time the warning came on was when one of the pressure sensors failed. No, I didn't even get a warning. No, I didn't get a warning like that either. I just got a check engine light, and if you hooked it up to the tool, it said that the DPF was 9,000% loaded. But once I replaced the sensor, it's been working fine. It still does regeneration as it needs to. Presumably that's mainly because of how I drive it. I don't baby it. There's no carbon buildup in my car, in any of my vehicles. It's also why I don't typically get 50 miles to the gallon. I usually sit in low 40s in the summer, high 30s in the winter. But as of right now, that's all I've heard. Like I said, the rep's involved. He says he thinks he might have the parts there, but he's not certain because of how odd mine is. Parts may have to be ordered hopefully today for tomorrow, so that maybe I'll have the car back by this weekend. I'm not certain. I did mention the broken cell phone charger. I told him it's not a big deal, that I've already replaced it. Just wanted to let him know that it occurred. And he apologized profusely about it. Said I don't necessarily want to get the tech in trouble. It might happen to someone who's not nearly as understanding and just causes a big shitstorm instead of just bringing it up politely. Actually, when I dropped it off, I still had the old broken cell phone charger hooked up and using. I haven't taken the new one out of the packaging yet. When I get the car back and it's done, I'll do an unboxing for the new flux capacitor and installing that. So as soon as I know more, I'll film more as soon as I have a chance. So obviously these were yesterday's updates, but I'm just getting around to it today. That didn't take long. Got an update from the service manager this afternoon. Apparently my case has been escalated. So not only is the rep involved, the QTM is involved. And once I googled what the fuck that meant, that stands for Quality Technical Manager, which it's my understanding is he's basically the regional, essentially a master tech. And on the same forum that filled me in with that information, they also filled me in that his word is basically gospel. If my understanding of the situation is correct, it's basically as high as my case can be escalated. So the QTM is supposed to show up at the dealership tomorrow. Once he takes a look at it, parts will be ordered accordingly. But they were saying that even at the regional level, they haven't had a car like mine come in for the recall yet. So mine really is a unicorn, which is neat when you think about it, but also horrible, because that means I'm never gonna, if I ever want to get parts for it, it's gonna be a pain in the ass because only my car has this setup. I guess I should have figured this from the get-go, because it took me forever to find that car, because I wanted a fully loaded diesel with stick transmission. which is what I got. The only thing mine doesn't have is the nav, which I'm fine with because factory nav usually sucks. I haven't played with the Volkswagen one, I'm just presuming based off my experience with other ones. Buy unique cars, have unique problems. That's worth it. So that update took significantly longer than the last one. You know, I said I would put those timers in as a joke, but now I know they're there because I have to, because of how long this has taken. It's now Thursday, the following week, not the week I dropped it off, the next week. And I got a call from the service manager this evening. Well, it was towards the end of the day, it was like 4:30. He's like, hey, has Volkswagen contacted you? No, I assume they were dealing with you. Apparently, the QTM did show up on Friday like he was supposed to. He came, took a look at stuff, and then he said he would, email the service manager on how to proceed. Well, after a day or two and he hadn't heard back from me, he gave him a call. QTM said, oh, we got to get in touch with the customer. That would be me. I'm the customer. Which, now his call makes sense. Wondering if they had contacted me. Which, as of right now, 6 o'clock on Thursday, they haven't. They haven't contacted me. I haven't heard anything. No voicemails, no emails. So he asked him, or what are you contacting the customer about? Because he's been my primary, contact on this whole ordeal. Oh, we can't tell you. That's what the QTM told the service manager. Okay, I'm not entirely sure what that means. I'd be less pissed off about it that they wouldn't told him if they had told me, like they were going to do. But they haven't done that yet. Fucking tell somebody, tell one of us what the fuck is going on, so we can figure out how to, go about it. So as of right now, I have no idea what the status is in the car. I know they haven't done anything. I don't know where we're gonna go from here. The service manager said he's gonna try calling him again tonight or tomorrow if he couldn't get through, to get some kind of update, to either, get an answer for him or to have him somebody call me so he gets some fucking answers here. My best guess is that it's because the NOx converter is part of the DPF and the DPF's never been replaced. Here's my prediction right now. They're either gonna try to make me pay for part of the DPF because it's one whole assembly and it's never been replaced, which they can shit in their hat because I'm not paying for it. It doesn't need it except to get this recall done, which they're responsible for getting the recall fixed. Or number two, they're gonna say, oh, we're not fucking touching it. Remember that buyout we offered you? Here it is again. Which, no, I'm not doing that either, because if I wanted the buyout, I would have done it in the first place and not gone for the recall. I like the car. There is no other car in the market that does what my Jetta does, especially not with the features, and sure shit not for the price. That's all I got for now. Of course, I've been driving the Miata in the meantime, which has developed a new issue, which I'll include a clip of it here. Yeah, the speed sensor's dying, or has died, one of the two. I found on the forum what the problem should be and how to fix it for cheap, but I haven't actually taken a look at it, so I don't know if that'll work. I'm gonna be on my bike here soon, or huffing it. See you guys at the next update. A couple seconds for you, who knows for me. Alright, so I got another update. Probably gonna be the last update for this video. He actually called me yesterday, and I will update the counters accordingly. He called me yesterday to let me know that the recall parts for my vehicle are not yet available. Based on the paperwork, it's a newer model. Based on the hardware, it's like the first generation. Because of this, the parts have not yet been released for it. So now I gotta pick my car back up after it's been sitting there for all this time. It was like 2 weeks now. It's been so long I can't even remember. But you'll know because the counters have been there the whole time. And I'll know when I put in the counters because of editing. The service manager told me that he'll get an email when the parts for mine become available, or that category of them. And so he's going to give me a call and let me know when to bring the car back. Which is good because apparently Volkswagen can't be trusted or bothered to call me about my car. I also have info on the parking brake, but I'm going to, at this point, put that either in its own video or in the next segment. I haven't decided which yet. All this time has elapsed. Whatever I made this one, whatever I made this one, whatever I made this one. And my car is still not had its recall completed. I love my Jetta, but Volkswagen's customer service is for shit. And I think I'm going to end on that note. See y'all in the next one.